the evolution and impact of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Epic montage of Godzilla scenes unfolds, from the grainy black and white footage of 1954 to the high-definition battles of today. The iconic roar echoes as the screen flashes between cities crumbling and epic monster showdowns. Dramatic music swells. From stomping through Tokyo in the 50s to battling it out in Hollywood blockbusters, Godzilla has been a towering presence in pop culture for nearly 7 decades. Have you ever wondered how this giant monster became such a legend? Or what makes him resonate with audiences around the globe? The birth of a legend. It's 1954. Post-war Japan is grappling with the aftermath of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Enter Toho Studios, where filmmakers dreamt up a creature that could embody the fears and anxieties of the time. And thus, Gojira was born. Godzilla wasn't just a random monster. He was a symbol, a living, breathing metaphor for nuclear devastation and human recklessness. Imagine the terror of a gigantic beast representing the very real nightmares of nuclear fallout. It's heavy stuff, right? But that's what made Godzilla more than just a monster. He was a reflection of societal fears, a way for Japan to process the unthinkable. The evolution of Godzilla's design. Trust me, he's had quite the glow-up. 1950s, 1970s, the Showa era. Back in the day, Godzilla was brought to life using suitmation. Yep, that's a guy in a suit. The original design captured that prehistoric vibe. 1980s and 1990s, the Heisei era. Fast forward to the 80s and 90s, and we see advancements in special effects. Godzilla got sleeker, bigger, and meaner. The suits were more detailed, and his atomic breath became way cooler. 2000s present, the Millennium and Reiwa eras. Enter the 21st century and CGI starts to take over. Movies like Shin Godzilla introduced us to a more terrifying and realistic monster. Hollywood adaptations. The Hollywood takes. In 1998, we got a, let's say, interesting version of Godzilla. In 2014, Hollywood redeemed itself with a Godzilla that stayed truer to his roots. Massive, powerful, and a force of nature. Godzilla's filmography highlights. With over 30 films under his belt, it's hard to pick favorites, but let's spotlight some key movies. Godzilla, 1954, the one that started it all. King Kong vs. Godzilla, 1962. Two legends, one screen. This was the first time Godzilla appeared in color and widescreen. Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, 1995. An emotional roller coaster where we see Godzilla at his most powerful and most vulnerable, 2016. A modern reboot that brought Godzilla back to his horror roots. Throughout these films, recurring themes pop up, like the consequences of messing with nature and the classic human versus nature conflict. They crushed it at the box office, influencing not just Japanese cinema, but filmmakers worldwide. Friends and foes, the Monsterverse. Godzilla doesn't rule alone. Allies. Mothra, the giant moth goddess, often teaming up with Godzilla to save the planet. Rodan, a flying kaiju with supersonic speed, sometimes friend, sometimes foe. Anguirus, an armored dinosaur, one of Godzilla's earliest allies. Adversaries. The three-headed dragon from space, arguably Godzilla's arch-nemesis. Mechagodzilla, a robotic doppelganger built to take down the big guy. Destoroyah, a demon-like creature born from the weapon that killed the original Godzilla. These monsters aren't just for show. They each bring out different aspects of Godzilla's character and add layers to the storytelling. Monsterverse expansion. In recent years, there's been an effort to create a shared cinematic universe. With movies like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong, the possibilities are endless. Cultural impact and legacy. Why does Godzilla matter? Global influence. Godzilla is more than a Japanese icon. He's a global phenomenon. He's introduced countless people to Japanese culture and cinema, merchandise and media. From action figures to video games, comics to clothing, Godzilla's footprint is everywhere. Fan communities. Conventions like G-Fest celebrate everything Godzilla. Fans dress up, discuss theories, and share their passion. Online forums and fan art keep the community thriving. It's not just about the movies. It's about being part of something bigger. Behind the scenes. Creation process. From the early days of suitmation, imagine sweating it out in a heavy costume, to today's cutting-edge CGI, it's been a wild ride. Key creators and actors. Directors like Ishiro Honda shaped the initial vision. Music and sound design. Can't talk Godzilla without mentioning the music. Composers like Akira Ifukube crafted scores that are as iconic as the monster himself. And that roar? Unforgettable. Godzilla's symbolism in modern context. Environmental awareness. In many films, Godzilla represents nature striking back against human abuse. Political and social commentary. Godzilla movies often critique nuclear proliferation and governmental responses to crises. Educational influence. Believe it or not, Godzilla has made his way into academic discussions, from film studies to environmental science. The future of Godzilla. Upcoming projects. There are always rumblings of new films and series. Godzilla in digital media. Streaming platforms are jumping on board with shows like Godzilla Singular Point on Netflix. Godzilla continues to adapt, resonating with new generations while keeping longtime fans hooked. Conclusion. There you have it. Godzilla's epic journey from a symbol of nuclear destruction to a global pop culture titan. What makes Godzilla so enduring is his ability to evolve while staying true to his core. He's a reminder of our past mistakes and a symbol of unstoppable natural forces. If you've never seen a Godzilla film, I highly recommend diving in. And if you're a longtime fan, let's keep the conversation going.